Hi everybody, my name is Boris Lefterov. I'm the assistant hotel manager of the Cliff Beach Obzor. And we're a small family hotel on the coast of Black Sea. And yeah, right now we're prepping for the upcoming season, which is an interesting period right now.
Hello. All right, so the funny thing, you said what you said, you talked about your company, and before I get into this, where are you, my friend? Where are you?
I am in Bulgaria right now, Europe. For somebody haven't heard of Bulgaria, it's in Eastern Europe. We're on the east coast of the far east side of the country, on the Black Sea coast, right above Turkey and below Romania.
So most people will probably think, how did Jodi meet a person from Bulgaria?
Right.
And this conversation even happening? So I spoke last year in Bulgaria. I was asked to speak in Bulgaria. I remember getting the phone call and they're like, are you available to come and speak to this conference in Bulgaria? And I'm like, all right, Bulgaria, I know the Balkans. I'm like, I knew around where it was, but I wasn't quite sure because Bulgaria is not a thought in someone's mind. I mean, it wasn't in my, never in my thoughts would I ever think about going to Bulgaria. And I remember walking to the hotel and you were the first face that I met when I went into the hotel, and you were a ray of sunshine. Then he said to me, they're like, hey, I see that you're a marketing person. Do you have time to sit down and talk to me? Because I have an idea. I go, oh, okay. So I just assumed that this big hotel, you had this idea. And I'm like, all right, not a problem. I mean, I love talking about marketing. And we sat down for an hour talking about your family business, and I'm like,
my working hours.
I know. But it was so awesome. It was definitely not during working hours. But it was really nice that you really wanted to actually engage the conversation to grow. So tell me about your family business. Tell me about, like, how did it start, who started it, and where it has evolved and how long it's been around.
Well, the things that we actually talked about, they actually was something separate from the family business, but a long time passed since we've met. I mean, it was a year, but it feels like 2 years. And I actually decided to adapt my idea to the already existing business that we have with my family, which is this boutique hotel. So my family is in the hospitality business for the past 25, 30 years. My father is in the construction, built a lot of hotels here in the various resorts. My mother is a hotelier, so we started with a small boutique hotel in the city of Burgas, in the city center. Then we built another, like an hotel, like apartments hotel that we like short rental apartments in the sunny beach. And then we built the Cliff, which is let's say four-star superior kind of property. And right now my concept that I was talking about, and I wanted marketing ideas with you that I shared with you, is basically wellness programs that like retreats for emotional intelligence, for yoga, for culinary classes that would be offered to companies as a alternative way of team building. So right now, what I decided to do is just basically join it together with the Cliff and make it a soft brand of the Cliff. I thought it was going to be better to use a name that is already established for the past 10 years to put it as a product of our other business. And so far, I just started offering it to companies, and right now next couple of weeks I'm just waiting for questions from them, so I started pitching it, and that's where I'm right now and in the meantime I'm dealing with the pre-opening procedures for the hotel and the selling of it and everything.
So walk me through your family. All right, so family-owned businesses have always had a whole list of other difficulties, pros and cons that companies don't have. When your family started this company, did they expect you to take over the company? Do you have siblings that are also involved in it?
Yeah,
What's the story about that? Because there are people that are thinking about starting a company right now. They're
yeah,
at home and they're thinking, hey, this might be it. There are people that are thinking, hey, I'm the next line of the family, like taking over the family business. You
yeah,
can go anywhere. You have it in your blood about hospitality. I
yeah.
met you in another hotel. Why did you decide to go this route? And do you have other family members that are in it? And what are the pros and cons of owning that family business?
Well, when they first started, I guess, like as every parent, when they're building something this big, and at one point it was really big until 2008, another very interesting year and period.
Oh
But
yes, remember it
yeah,
well.
yeah, and that's a funny thing actually. When I was growing up as a teenager, I was seeing what life was having, owning and running a family business. It's a lot of tension. It's 24/7. There is like the office moves inside the house and on vacation, and it's everywhere because you're 24/7 responsible for at least 100 employees. So
Mhm.
there's no break, and there's a lot of when your parents or your spouse is your business partner, it can get quite intense. So you have to mentally prepare for that. And as a kid, seeing that, I wanted to be as far as I can from that business. That's why I started doing music. So I spent 7 or 8 years of my life doing music so that I don't have any points of conflict with my parents, because I wanted to have this peaceful moment when we just share something out of our professional lives, but we don't need to argue about something in common. But at one point, it didn't work out for me with music, and I was like, okay, what I've been doing my whole life, where I've been, like I need to go back like one step. And my plan B was hospitality. My plan B was a hotel. And when I told my mom, like, you know what, I want to enter hospitality, she was like, "Are you sure about that? Like I don't think you're made for that." But and I proved that. I did a receptionist course in London when I was studying in London, so I got very good grades in that course. That was my first steps in hospitality, and I loved it day one. And there was I believe Will Smith said it in an interview. It's kind of cliche, but if you have a plan B, just go for plan B. You know, I love it, and it's that true. I mean, you don't have plan B, just have plan A and go with it. If you have plan B, something's wrong with plan A, so just go with plan B. You know, and I really believe in that, and that's what I'm doing right now. I don't have a plan B. I'm all in, and if you're thinking about family business, just make sure you're ready to mentally prepare for that. I'm still doing it right as we speak, and it's a learning thing in process, and it feels nice, but it is literally no days off.
Well, it's no days off, but also what I find very interesting about family businesses are the new generation is trying
Yeah,
to with the older generation. The older generation built the company.
yes,
They didn't go to school for it, and they just figured it out. And now
yeah,
you're coming in with all these new ideas and concepts, and they're looking at you thinking, "I've been doing this for a long time. What are you saying?" And you're like, "But I can."
yeah, 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 exactly, yeah, 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 yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Because you have so many new and fresh ideas that,
Patient.
especially because technology is around, that you could actually bring the hospitality to a new level. And even with the retreat that you're adding into the hotel, how are you able to convince or educate your family
Yeah,
members that
yeah.
this is a needed thing to grow the business?
I believe there are two types of parents and old generations, like that thing that you were actually explaining quite well, is that the new generation entering the business that was built by older generation, 20 to 25 years of experience in it, building and going through all these difficult times. And some people and parents and some generations are very open and easygoing.
Mhm.
The other ones are, like you said, what do you even know? You just graduated. You have no experience. I know how it's done the better way. I've survived for 25 years. Now you're gonna teach me how it's done, which is kind of mix of both in my case. And I just right now what I'm working on is patience. If they act quite uh, harsh in some of my comments and some of my ideas, I just swallow it up, relax. I don't go fighting. I don't go persuading them. I just give the idea, let it, be, they let them think about it a bit, even if they said no, and try again in a week. And it's working. It's actually working very slowly. They just need to see that you're actually devoted to your idea, that you're actually working on it. And it's not just like something you saw somewhere, okay, let's do that. It needs to be very well thought, and you need to prove and not take the things personally. Like, all they do is out of care and love. That's what you need to understand. That's what I believe. Even if they are rude at sometimes, if it feels rude to you, you need to understand that the only reason they're doing it is not because they don't like you or they're pure parents. I mean, it's just because they suffered a lot from various ideas and throughout their careers. So it's not personal. They're making it just to protect you and the business and the family. Don't take absolutely anything personal, even if it's coming from your parents, the closest people in your family. That's what I'm seeing right now, and that's what I'm experiencing right now. And this is my technique: just accepting it and letting go, and try again.
And try it again.
Yes,
What
yeah.
what makes the Cliff so special? I mean, it's one of the premier. I mean, your parents built that property 25 years ago.
No. In 2008, actually, in 2008. Yeah. Right.
During when the world imploded the last time.
Yes. So we started the project in 2006. We started construction in 2007, and right at the peak, we just had to open, and it's still running.
So what makes it so special? What makes it, is it the location? Is it the food? It's the people. Look, what makes this stand out?
For me, is the location. I mean, location and the architecture and the design. Absolutely everything in it. The whole combination is that you have this beautiful property right in the middle of the woods, on top of a cliff. Right before you is the sea, and you have like this private beach right in front of you. And to go to that beach, you need to go down 200 steps, which is like a wooden path and wooden stairs, and it's so magical, so beautiful. And that's the comment that I get every time somebody visits, is that, whoa. Because when you end, like when you drive to the hotel, until the last 15 meters, you don't see where you headed. And when you enter that uh, drive, that road, when you see the whole building, everybody's like, whoa, you can build that in the woods, and you have this amazing property. And mainly is the design as well, like I said, because my brother did the design and the architecture actually. So this is where my brother is entering the business, the family business as well. So he did the architecture and design, and they did a great job, because
Did you tell him? Wait. Did you tell him that he did a great job?
Yeah, everybody. And I'm because no, because before that, when I was still a teenager, I literally didn't care about the hotel, to be honest, and I didn't notice the nice things about the hotel. And right now, when I'm traveling a lot and when I'm seeing other hotels, when I'm seeing competitors, I'm like, we built something in 2008, and we didn't need to change anything. Like, the design is exactly the same as it was in 2008. And everybody who comes there is like, is that a new hotel? When did you build that? I was like, yeah, 2008. I was like, what? So that's another thing when you do your business, and especially in real estate. Definitely do a design that will last. Classic, clean design that will last you. And the main reason for that is that you're saving money. You don't need to redesign every 2 years, like the whole property, because that's what I'm seeing right now with a lot of colleagues and competitors, is that they're doing a design that is trendy now. Yeah. And you see a design that was trendy like 6-7 years ago, and now it's like kind of worn off. It's doesn't feel that funky anymore. Whereas if you go with the classic and it's very well thought, it's a very good investment when you think of it this way, and the experience as well. You have to link the design and all the rough stuff all the tangible stuff to the intangible. You need to link them properly since the beginning. That's what I believe, and that's what I'm seeing that they managed to do. And I'm like, congratulations. I mean, now I'm appreciating it. Appreciating it, 10 years later, but wow.
So you saying that, it's very interesting because a lot of hotels around the world were in the midst of construction, changing the whole entire essence of like having open space.
Yeah.
What are you seeing with the industry? I mean, what have you seen because of the pandemic, of what's happening to the industry? I mean, a lot of hotels around the world are at a shutdown. Or they're being used for hospital care workers, so that way they can keep their families safe. What are you seeing in the industry in Europe, and also what do you think it's going to be when doors open? I mean, how do you think this is the recovery? I mean, what's the recovery going to look like in your opinion?
Well, that's a question that even the biggest companies cannot answer. But what I'm seeing is that we're going back to basic, and we're removing a lot of unnecessary stuff that has been implemented just to bring more people to take their money. Because, I mean, for example, overstaffing and yes, about the experience, but at one point, why do we need the majority of the stuff in the services that it's actually a big cost for the hotels? I mean, even in restaurants right now, everybody's keeping it as simple as possible, with less service that it's needed, and you're giving this space to people, your guests, that they actually need. When you have 5 waiters on you, when you have a huge menu in front of you that you need to maintain all the time. Right now, most of the hotels are keeping it simple, 3 or 4 main dishes, 3 or 4 salads, something like that, just to keep your cost and waste at minimum. Hygiene is something that should be that is a number 1 priority in a hotel. Mm-hmm. And out of sudden, people started talking about more hygiene, where this is the thing that should be, even without or with pandemic, this is the main thing. And the good thing about us that we always have had 5-star reviews on cleanliness. And so for us, there's not going to be much change in that, because we keep our property clean and maintained, because that's the main thing. First you have hygiene, and then you have service, and the way the industry is going, I think is going in, I think the industry should use this time as a, how can I say it, as a period to change their concept, to adapt their concept, and to literally make a revolution in the industry. When I talk to hotels like mine, where they're experience oriented, we're in the city hotels. It is a city hotel. I believe in technology in city hotels, because everything there needs to be quick and fast, less service. I get that, and I agree with that. But in our case, I think as simple as possible that it is right now. Less staff, minimum service as well, just the right people, the right places, and privacy at all time. I think these are the keys to get back on track and save money, give more space to your client, to your guests, and yeah.
But the anxiety is going to start. So we are going into holiday season, and so this is the time where most people are traveling, getting better. The anxiety is high. Especially for an individual that's been in their home for 90 days, the anxiety is high. So how are you? And you're like you just mentioned at the beginning, where you guys you're starting to roll out the openings for your properties. How do you calm the anxiety? Because most hotels are going to get hit. Numbers are going to be lower. So how do you calm the anxiety of an individual that should and that wants to come to your establishment? They were dying. They were like waiting for that holiday. Yeah. All of a sudden now they're thinking, I don't know. So what are you doing to calm those anxieties and get people excited about coming versus fearing coming?
Well, definitely using your social media is a big thing, and it's a key in that. And basically, we're sharing content when we see because we have a lot of open spaces in our hotel, a lot of gardens, a big nice terrace where people can dine. And we always had this, we believed in that spaciousness and we believe in that privacy. So, I mean, showing places where people won't feel endangered, they won't uh, feel that they need to be stuck with other people, and also just operational procedures. I mean, there will be only 2 people that will be allowed to check in at the same time in the lobby. There will be at least only 1 or 2 people in the lifts. Also in restaurants, there will be a whole change in the service. There won't be any buffets. So what we're gonna do with that, and we already communicated with our guests, is gonna be we're just gonna serve them. It's gonna be like an a la carte type of service when it comes to breakfast. So you avoid that gathering of people around the buffet, which is and taking out from the same plate using the same utensils, you know. So these are the procedures that we're going to implement. Also, there's right now these regulations about the sunbeds. They need to be at the proper distance, which is about 2 to 5 meters from one another, unless you're a family, so you can put 2 to 3 sunbeds all together. And just showing nature, showing where we're located, that we have nobody surrounding us. So showing the beach, which is like a private beach, so there won't be much people there visiting. Also, we have hotel rooms and apartments, and each block has its own individual entrance. So people will definitely feel safe in our place because they're just space. You know, they're just open air. You don't have many spots where people can get around on tight places. So that's what we're promoting. That's what we're showing. A lot of bright colors, and just to remind them of how good it was last year at the beach. So um, just communicate the best places of your property. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm advise the other colleagues to do as well.
Beautiful. What are the skills that you have gained during your, how long have you, are you guys technically still in quarantine? Have you, how was it implemented in Bulgaria?
Well, it started on the 13th of March, I believe. So they locked down absolutely everybody. There was no curfew. Few times they were like, okay, mask on, then mask on, then it was mask off, mask on, you know, and it was like,
Which one is it?
Yeah. Because one time it was dangerous to have the masks on, then it was dangerous to have them off. So this was kind of confusing. Then at one point, well, it was like Easter time, they locked down all the cities. Even I weren't when I was not allowed to leave the Sofia, the capital, because I wanted to go back home for Easter, but I was not allowed because I need to have a legitimate reason to leave the city, even though I was living I was registered in my hometown, not in Sofia. So they did that, and a week ago they allowed restaurants to open. Only their terraces and their, let's say, on the street, if they have tables on the street, so they allowed that. And right now on 1st of June they're opening completely the restaurants.
Okay.
So that's a big thing. The only places where you have to wear masks is, which I understand, is the banks, the big grocery stores, the supermarkets, the shopping malls. But to be honest, and they also closed off all the parks and the mountain areas. They also did that. Basically, they were following what's happening in Europe and what the European Commission is saying. Okay, you need to do this, this, and this. This was implemented, you know. So they were just waiting for instructions from Brussels, and that's it. That's what they did. But funny thing is that people were very scared the first week. But since they opened the parks and the mountain areas, you just see tons of people just out on the streets, happy and enjoying their time. And I believe that's good. Of course, you need to be aware and keep your distance, but people are starving for that social connection again, and they quickly forgot what it was the last month, you know. yeah, that's what was basically done here. And to be honest, we have right now we just have 100 people that died from
Mhm.
that from the
Very,
virus.
very low.
Extremely low, extremely low. But they locked down the country when we had just 3 cases. You
Yep.
know, just like to like not wait for the last minute, but just let's do it right now so we can prevent the disease to spread and the virus
Yep.
to spread. And we also only have 2,400 people registered
Mm.
and around 1,500 rough numbers. I haven't read them, but
Yep.
1,500 were already healed without the virus.
Wow.
So we're actually one of the few countries in the world doing very good, very
Very good.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Excellent. During the time that you have been inside isolation, what are the new skills that you learned?
I did a few LinkedIn courses,
Uh-huh.
marketing, copywriting, because right now, as we are in a very low cut budget, we cut the budget quite a lot on marketing, which is not a
Mhm.
good idea, but that's how we decided to do it.
Yep.
So I took over most of the marketing and copywriting stuff, you know. So I needed to improve on that in these areas. I learned a bit, to be honest, but it's a thing that's learning in motion, and that's what I'm enjoying. That's why I quit my job in Hilton, because I wanted to jump in deep water, you know,
Mhm.
and learn in action, because that's the best way to do it. But definitely, I didn't learn much new, but I got back to my old routine that I was missing a lot while I was doing music.
Yep.
Getting up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., working out, reading a lot. Um, Definitely devoting my time on just action and coming up with new ideas and coming up with new content and how to approach the market again and how to get reservation reservations flowing in,
Mhm.
and just reading a lot of reading newsletters, a lot of reading books, and um, yeah, I improved a bit.
You know,
But
the amount of people that are telling me they're enjoying reading again, which is great because you're usually moving so fast that sitting down
yeah,
reading a book is not part of someone's moment. But I mean, I love hearing so many people that are picking up books again and really
hmm,
enjoying that time of just escaping into a whole new realm, which is really good.
yeah.
Last question.
Hmm.
If there was an ask that you wanted to put out to anyone and everyone that's listening to you right now, what would be your ask personally and professionally, and or professionally and personally? What would be the thing that you'd want people to know, or what's the ask?
Well, think of yourself. You know, take care of yourself and find businesses that help you with that. No matter what businesses, I mean, what industry and what sphere, just whatever you need, there is something out there for you. And think of businesses and look at their communication. See how they communicate with you, and that they're actually there to serve you. You know, coming out of a hospitality person, that's what I do my business. That's what I want to do with my projects. Is that I want to improve people the same way I'm improving myself. I want to improve people. So look for businesses that want to improve you. And my my motto is, as a business person, let's say, make people thank you when they give you money. You know, I think that's yes, you know.
Wait.
But
Explain that a little bit more.
yeah, yeah, well, what I mean is that when you provide a service, you're getting paid for it. That's the purpose of business, right?
Mhm.
Money. But when somebody's giving you money, make them thank you as well. Not just, okay, you did that for me, here's the cash. No, thank you. Here's the money you deserve. You know, that's how I spend my money as well. I want to thank the person I'm giving money, you know.
All
And
right,
that way,
I love because I'm going to thank you because I walked into a hotel. Like, I mean, I walked into so many hotels in so many different countries, and you were my go-to. You were a great conversation. You double checked at all times. And yes, one would assume it's your job, but you definitely made it so memorable that I'm friends with you. I mean, and my family and my friends they're like, you make friends everywhere. I'm like, oh, I do, because they're great people everywhere. And if I meet great people, I want to keep them. And so when I decided to do these conversations, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely reaching out to Boris because I know what he's doing. And you just really made such a great impression on me when I was in Bulgaria that I'm like, oh, I can't let this one go. He's a good guy. He's one of the ones. And also because I want to go to the cliffs one day. So I'm so excited because one, I want to say I'm planning a trip to go to Bulgaria again, but also I didn't realize it was so close to Greece. And I'm like, that's my dream place. So to go to the coast and drive 3 hours to go to Greece, I'm doing it.
Yes, you should.
Oh my God. My friend, thank you so very much for taking time out of your day. I mean, I really appreciate it. I will come back to you and find out how it was for the season. I'll probably check in to see how it was. I want to hear the rest of the story. There's going to be bumps and bruises. This is the entire situation, but that a lot of us are going to learn a lot from it.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm very much looking forward to it.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful season, and I will talk to you soon.
Sure. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.